Hey folks, this is Lindsey Boes with Boes Therapy Services based out of Littleton, Colorado, and I'm super excited to finally be able to do this video. It's taken me longer than I care to admit to figure out how to get the microphone and the camera and the audio and the editing and all that figured out. So I think I'm finally, fingers crossed, able to do that today. So what I wanted to do for my first video and several subsequent videos actually is to do an Ask the Therapist sort of format. So I have already gotten several really great questions from people, completely anonymous. Some are just questions written on scraps of paper that I have no idea who wrote them. So I'm really excited to get started with that. I'll do one question per video because I want to honor your time and not do a 30-minute long video and have you just waiting or scrolling to try to find your answer if you're looking for an answer to a question that you submitted. And I also want to make sure that I can give enough information given very little context to the question that I have to go off of. Just a disclaimer, this video is not a suitable replacement for mental health care. This is just a video to provide some direction or some tips or tricks to try, but it's definitely not a mental health care source. So if you are experiencing mental health concerns or maybe some behavioral concerns, which we'll talk about in the video today, please talk to a therapist or a mental health professional that you trust and make sure you're being kind to yourself and getting the care that you need. So the first question is, what is the best way to address impulsive purchasing behavior? So I was really excited about this one, and my first thought is that there are two things that could be the issue. It could be a behavioral thing of just habits that you've learned and it's really tricky to break, or there could be something underneath the behavior that hasn't been addressed yet. So if you look online, there's some really great strategies for behavioral techniques to curb your spending behavior. I posted one of those below if you're on YouTube or in a blog if you're on my website. So examples of these are like waiting 24 hours before you purchase something and between seeing an object and purchasing it, waiting 24 hours, having a list when you go in, not using coupons because we tend to buy what we don't need if we use coupons. Sometimes going shopping with people who aren't going to encourage you to buy everything, things of that nature, like little strategies that people can use to change their habits. If you've tried that and it still hasn't changed your actual purchase habits, then I would recommend going to a therapist and seeing what need might be below that behavior. So an example of a need that could show itself, like manifest in impulsive purchasing behavior, is maybe you didn't have enough of your needs met as a kid. Maybe you were living in poverty, and so now as an adult, hopefully you've gotten out of poverty, which is a struggle for so many people because it's not an easy thing to do to get out of poverty if you were born into it. But maybe you have, and now you're spending money on everything that you might not necessarily need, but it's a way to feel safe. It's a way to feel secure. Maybe you have anxiety or depression, and going shopping is a really good way to just distance yourself from those struggles, from those thoughts. And if you can focus on something else, then you aren't focusing on depression or anxiety. So that might be another need that's not being met, is addressing the depression or anxiety. Or maybe you, like most people in our culture, have a really strong desire to be successful. And what we think of as successful in our culture in the United States is usually having a lot of stuff, like just stuff. So any of these things could be the reason why your behavior is not changing, even though you're trying to change like behavioral strategies and it's not sticking. That signals to me that you're not addressing the root of the problem, that you need to go below that and figure out what need is not being addressed. So in order to do that, you really need to find a therapist. There's a lot of good information online. Psychology Today has some really great links. I'll post those as well. Or if you're on my blog, I'll post those to the actual blog. And hopefully those will be helpful. But again, make sure you're being kind to yourself. So bottom line, try some behavioral techniques. If you've tried those and they don't work, then I would go see a therapist and try to address the underlying issue. And then after you've addressed those things, then you can go back and try the behavioral strategies again, and hopefully they'll stick a little bit better that time. So hopefully that's helpful to you. If you want a follow-up question to that, please feel free to email me. Again, not as a replacement for mental health care, but just to get a little more information. And if you want to find a way to find a therapist that's right for you, let me know about that too, and I'm happy to help. So again, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned in future weeks for more videos with more questions. I've got some really good ones coming up that I'm really excited about. So hopefully we'll see you then. Bye.